People are always asking me, Uncle Dane, what are you doing? And I'm usually like, I'm looking at pictures of Bryce Dallas Howard on Google Images. Why? What's up? And they're like, no, like, what are you doing in Team Fortress 2? And I think I answer that question in the same way just about everyone who loves and plays TF2 answers it right now. I'm waiting for matchmaking. I mean, matchmaking is currently in semi-open beta, and it has been for a while now, but the problem is that the thing is just so beta-y right now that no one really plays it anymore. There are long queue times, limited maps in the rotation, the abandoning system is broken and causes even more waiting, the matchmaking system doesn't even pair you with players of similar ranks, which is kind of the entire point of matchmaking. You'd think that they'd get that figured out first. One big thing is that the weapons and classes in TF2 are not even currently balanced around competitive matchmaking. In fact, they never have been. Valve has always balanced weapons around the core game, which has always been pubs and to a lesser extent man versus machine. So right now, there are a few weapons that are basically a straight upgrade in Valve's current matchmaking format, and a few that have barely any significance at all. Not to mention that there are no class restrictions, so you can totally stack a team with 2 heavies, 3 medics, and a sniper and completely dominate a King of the Hill map, or run 5 scouts and a quick fix medic on a 5 CP map to simply outcap your opponents. Those are just a few of the obvious things that still need to be fixed about the current matchmaking beta, but one thing is for sure, it's still really fun. When you finally get paired with a group of 11 other people who have enough processing power in their PC to not simply crash out of the game and waste everyone's time, the 6v6 matchmaking game mode is the most fun and provides the most excitement that I've had in TF2 by far. Matchmaking is everything I've wanted in TF2 ever since I started to move past pubs and seek more competitive style games. And matches with cooperation, a focus on teamwork and the objective, like, as an engineer main, you know I'm going to be into a game where the team actually focuses on the objective. I've played in UGC Highlander for about 5 seasons, and while it's gained me some really great friends and amazingly helpful experience at learning how to better myself at playing the game, the community's version of competitive TF2 just isn't enough to keep the game going in an age where professional gaming is a huge focus in modern titles. The competitive community as it is now is a very small portion of the entire Team Fortress 2 player base, and it has a lot to do with the fact that it's relatively difficult to get involved with the leagues. I mean, in order to find a team, you have to make an account on a Looking for Team forum and hope that somebody picks you up for their low div team. Either that or you have to know someone who is looking for a player that fits your credentials. And I know that for a fact most people who play TF2 don't have a lot of other friends who play TF2 as well, let alone competitive ones. There's currently no way for someone to even know that the competitive community even exists because they'd have to go out of their way through a third-party website in order to find a way in. And as a result, the competitive community is very tight-knit and secluded, and half the upper level community at this point all know each other, which can make it very daunting and difficult to break into. This is no one's fault but Valve's, but they rarely have acknowledged the existence of an interest in competitive TF2 up until very recently, and that's mainly because they now need their help in developing their own matchmaking system. I think that a community-run competitive TF2 is destined to tread water forever and never expand to a number even close to levels that will compete with other current games with a built-in matchmaking system without Valve's help. And thankfully, albeit like 3 years too late, they're actually adding matchmaking to the game. This will have a hugely positive effect on the competitive community in more than a few ways. The one I'm most excited about and looking forward to is that it will make competitive TF2 much less exclusive. The current cliques and tight-knit groups that stem from a small community of competitive gamers is what causes this rift between the two types of TF2 players. People who dedicate most of their time to like pick-up games, scrims, matches, MGE, etc. They have a higher tendency to look down on pubbers because they're playing at such a random, untamed form of the game that they're used to playing. So it's become kind of a stereotype that all competitive players are just huge assholes who spread only toxicity, but the truth is, people like that exist everywhere in this game. But it stems from the competitive community mainly because it's the only solid barrier between the common casual players and a vocal minority that likes to flaunt that barrier any chance that they get. What matchmaking will do is introduce everyone to competitive TF2. So with the exception of the very small percentage of people who have played in a third-party competitive league before, basically everyone will be starting off at the same level. Everything will be new again. The metagame will be fresh. Players old and new will be able to contribute to building a competitive community from the ground up, and this benefits not only the people who have been playing in competitive games for years already, but it will benefit people who have been playing in pubs for years without a single idea of how to play this game at a higher level than what they're used to. And that basically means you. I mean, I'm pretty self-aware here. I know that my audience is very generalized, which means that very few of you have played TF2 outside of your community servers or Valve pubs, and we all have come to know and love and hate all so dearly, so I understand if it might seem like a pretty huge change that you may or may not take part in. Most of you might even prefer pubs over matchmaking, even when it is released out of beta, and I'm sure that pubs will always have their purposes for me as well, and I fully intend to make content aimed at everyone who loves and plays Team Fortress 2, but for me, personally, matchmaking is what I've been needing in this game, and there are a lot of people who feel the exact same way. A big game on everyone's lips right now, and for the past 2 years, is Overwatch, and because the game has a focus on lobbies and matchmaking, it's looking mighty attractive to a lot of TF2 players, which a few people might find worrisome, but I honestly don't think that TF2 matchmaking would exist without Overwatch, so we have to thank Blizzard for that. Competition forces innovation, and Valve isn't going to just let their third most played game on Steam that makes them over $1 million per week on just key sales alone die off because some cool new game came along with a lobbying system. No. That being said, Overwatch, while it, in my opinion, still has a long way to go in terms of balance and overall gameplay, is a very fun game because it encourages friends to play together. You get more experience points when you lobby up with your friends, you have larger advantages because the game punishes a lack of coordination very hard, and you genuinely have a lot more fun when you're playing with people you like. I know, big surprise there. But pubbing with friends in TF2 is basically trying to avoid random bullshit. More often than not, auto balance will completely screw over any attempts to play on the same team as your buddies, which usually defeats the purpose of trying to play a video game together. Matchmaking in TF2 will completely solve those problems. I also think that an added benefit for people like me, who occasionally like to stream TF2, is that streaming pubs is like the worst experience. I already have to alias in this game to avoid people like focusing me or doing dumb shit like following me around and spamming me in the chat or whatever when I'm not streaming. So when around 400 plus people know what server I'm on, it doesn't really accurately simulate a normal pubbing experience. I know the hard life of a popular TF2 streamer, but as a result, I've only really enjoyed playing man versus machine because it's a lobbied game mode that I can play with friends or Twitch subs, and it ends up being a much more laid back stream environment where the only aimbots I have to deal with are the bots. Matchmaking will provide me and countless other streamers with much more live content in that sense. I mean, right now, a ton of the top TF2 streamers are playing the matchmaking beta still, despite how janky it is. Yes, it's that much more fun to wait around for 15 minutes at a time to play a decent game of TF2 than to stream pubs as a popular TF2 streamer. I know, sad but true. Team Fortress 2, from a development standpoint, is constantly in these highs and lows. Every few months or so, there will be this really cool update that adds a ton of new content and makes people come back and play, and then there will be long stretches of time where nothing ever happens but little patches that fix the way the hats clip with each other, and everyone gets really bored. Right now, we're in a low period, but I think that the upcoming matchmaking update will be a high period to end all lows. Matchmaking is the end-all be-all for TF2 sustainability. I think that it's pretty underrated how important this update will be for the game as a whole. And not only will it affect the way that I play TF2 day to day, but it will be one of the things that keeps both casual and hardcore players playing this game for years and years to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you nieces and nephews next time. Bye-bye.